Hello everyone. In this video I will try to set up one Git repository for all three tiers in SEP3. I have seen various groups, often they end up creating a Git repository for the Java project and another Git repository for the C# project, but I figured maybe it would be nice to have everything under one repository. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I have a folder here, just a test folder, so this is where I'm going to create the repository. I'll start by creating the folder that's going to contain everything, so I'll call it SEP3 Git structure test, whatever, doesn't matter. Maybe yours is just named SEP3, because that's your project. I then want to initialize a new Git repository in here, and I can do that by right-clicking, go to PowerShell, open here, and with the command git init, we are going to initialize a Git repository in this folder, and you can see that's a small Git folder. It's sort of pale, so that's because it's by default hidden, and if I unclick this, it disappears. If I click it again, it shows. So this is my repository locally for now. I haven't set anything up on GitHub, but we will get to that in a moment. Now I need the actual projects, and I am just going to do one for Java and one for C#. What we often see is obviously you have two tiers of one language or the other, but I just do one of each. I still suggest that you have it. You don't need three projects, just one solution for your C# and then another solution for your Java. So let's start with C#. I have my initial C#, my writer. I'm using writer, so I'll create a new solution, and I'll just start by an empty solution, and we'll call this SEP3 tier 1. I don't need to put it somewhere, and you can see it's already, because I've tested this out before, practiced a bit from home. So it wants to put it inside this folder here. So let's just see if things look. No, SEP3 one repo test. No, that was a previous one, right? I call it something else. Git structure test. Okay, so that's where I want to put it. So Git structure test in here. Select folder, not inside the Git, like this. Okay, that's inside this folder here. You see this path is the same as this path, and the solution is going to create a new directory called SEP3 tier 1. So I'm going to get a folder here called SEP3 tier 1. Otherwise I messed up and I'll have to start over. Let's see how it goes. I create. I get a solution. It's empty. Let's just verify here. I have this. That's a SLN file, so that's a good start. And let's just create a Blazor project. New project. We'll create a Blazor server. That's what most of you guys are going to use for your tier 1. Obviously that's up to you at the point of this video, but just for example, to show you how to do it. Okay, that's created and initialized. You can see that everything is red, meaning that there's a connection to Git, because the red color indicates that these are added. They exist but are not under version control, so Git doesn't really care about these files yet, so we need to add them. And a common mistake here, you can go to, so the solution is everything that's relevant for you, but if you go to the file system, you can open the folder here, and you can see there's a bin and an OBJ folder, and we don't want those. Right, I can maybe say git add to git ignore. That should create a git ignore file for me somewhere. Git ignore, let's see, where did it go? It's okay, I don't know. Blazor app. That's weird. Oh, right, of course. So it's in the root folder of my Git. So in this folder here. So it's here. I also want to ignore everything in the bin folder. There we go. These are files that are generated whenever you compile something. So every time you compile, these are updated, and Git will try to sort of get you to push them again, and we don't want that. And then other people are checking them out, and getting conflicts because their OBJ folder doesn't match the other stuff. So, okay, so while we're in the file system, it's important to also add this one to Git. That's the SLN file. You can see this contains some information about project setup. That's a Blazor app. Okay, so it knows about this one. And the CS project file, that one is also important to add. These are often forgotten, but this one contains information about the project. And if you check out a project from GitHub where the CS project file is not committed to, then your project won't really work out of when you clone it. So back to solution, and we also want to basically add these different files that we can see here. So everything in this root. Now I do this one at a time. Maybe it's not strictly necessary, but I did try once where I just said sort of selected everything, and for some reason I also had these two selected, and I really want to avoid those. So shared, I don't know, did I add that? Yeah, that's green. This one, git, add, everything in the data, add, the properties are nice, add this. You have some various settings in here that is probably good to share also. Okay, so that's my Blazor project. It's now, except that one. Let's remember that. Add to Git. Okay. Now if I press Ctrl K or I go to Git and say commit, it will show me all these files that I have added. There shouldn't be anything from the out or bin folder. So this looks okay. Index, some icons, yeah. So I'll just say initial tier 1 commit. And if I press commit and push here, it doesn't know where to push it because I haven't created a GitHub repository. So let's just go and do that. Okay, so here's my GitHub under repositories. I can create a new, and let's say we call it SEP3 structure test, something like that. It's public, that's fine. Do I want to add a README? Not yet. This is default, is good. That can be done later if you want to. Okay, that's my GitHub repository. There's nothing in it yet. I haven't pushed anything to it, but I do have a link here. So if I copy that and we say define remote, let's see if I can push in the URL like that. Okay, so I want to push all this to the master branch, and I'll say push. It's thinking down here to the right. Okay, that's done. Let's see what happened if I go to this one here. Okay, so I have my gitignore file in the root folder, and I have my SEP3 with the Blazor stuff, so that's off to a good start. I could obviously, back in Writer here, I could add my other projects if I wanted a web API for tier 2 or whatever. I don't want that. That's just more of the same. So let's go and see if we can also create a Java project and do the same thing. So apparently Writer and IntelliJ also is capable of recognizing that there is a Git repository in a parent folder, because this is actually my Writer folder, right? This is what Writer knows about, but there's a GitHub outside, and they can see that. So let's just find IntelliJ here. I want a new project. You can see I tested out again, so I'll have to call it something different perhaps. Maybe I can remove this. Let's hope. Okay, because that was a good name, I want to reuse that. Okay, Java. Maybe some of you are using, I don't know, there's some Spring initializer. I don't really know about that, but some of you are using Spring for SEP3. It doesn't really matter. The point is just that if you use one over the other of these, it's just going to set up some different default folders and classes initially. I don't really care about that. I care about giving this a name. First we want to, this is the old folder that I tested with before, so we want GitHub test. We want to go in here. Yeah, so it's updating. Okay, good. And that's where I want to put it. Okay, so project name, I want to call this SEP2 tier 2, and currently it's being located in here. If you remember in Writer there was a checkbox that said create no new folder, but I don't have that here for whatever reason. So I need to remember to put that here as well. So we actually create a folder called SEP2 tier 2. Otherwise, this will be the root folder of your Java project, and everything will be in there. So in here you'll have your source folder and all the IML file and the various stuff, and that's annoying. So project name, make sure to create a folder that matches. Click finish, create. Alright, I have my Java stuff. That's the root module. I have a source folder. Let's just create a simple class inside a package. I don't know, I think that's some default, I don't know, whatever package. And I'll just create a class in here, run program. This is where my main method is going to go if I were to actually create a program. You can see it's green, so that's good. This one here is red. I need to commit my IML file. That's sort of like the CS project file in C#. So let's commit that one. Add. I also need to commit this, I think, miscellaneous modules. I'm not actually sure, but I think these are supposed to be committed as well. Workspace. There's some initial stuff. Let's just add these. Maybe the git ignore. That's probably also a good idea. There we go. And if we go project files instead, nope. Package open files. Okay, so that's just I think that's it. There's no, these are just references, so that should be okay. Maybe there is something about if I add a reference to JavaFX, for example, then that is going to go into the IML folder, perhaps. And your JavaFX libraries are going to be located differently. So that may cause a problem. So if you're going to have conflicts in your IML files, then those should not be committed. Okay, I'm actually not entirely sure. Let's commit this again. Control K, or there's a git for commit. Initial tier 2 commit. We push that, and I'm going to need to define my. No, that was done once. Okay, so it already knows there's a master here, and I can push it. And I go to my repository, the one I just created. Here we go. And if I refresh it, yeah, I now have tier 1 and I have tier 2, and my stuff is in here, and I can navigate. I have a plugin called Octo something. I don't know, it's pretty cool. So it's just to navigate out here. Okay, so obviously you can create another one for tier 3 if you want to, but most likely the two tiers that share a programming language, they may also want to share some classes or other stuff, so it might be a good idea to keep everything Java related in one Java project, and everything C# related in one C# project or solution. So I think that's all for this video. I hope this helps you and works out. Thank you for watching.